Mic test. Oh yeah, there it goes. We'll be starting here shortly. How now, brown cow? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. You can hear that? Hello? Is that coming through? How now, brown cow? Blah, blah, hello? Hello? Hey, what's going on, y'all? Oh, I got a hot mic over here. We got a hot mic. Let's turn down the gain a little bit. All right. What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. It is Z-Rex with No Noise coming at you live for episode 300 already. Man, time flies. I can't believe it's already 300 episodes of this. Pretty crazy. But happy Friday. It's new month. Monthly charts have closed, so we'll check those out. It's June 2nd. I'm just past 11 in the a.m. Let's get it in. We got some pretty interesting price action today. Some follow through on the majors. Some more lollygagging on most of the cryptos. There's a couple outliers. XRP still looking pretty good. Oh, what else is looking pretty good? Ethereum, not too shabby, getting close to 1900. Litecoin back up at 95 almost. That's interesting. That's definitely kind of an outlier. Tron still looking pretty good. But let's go ahead and jump right into it and start, as we usually do, with Mama Bear. That's what this bitch is doing. Let's see. Bulls defending this trend line cross here and the cluster still. Yay. We've only been in this cluster since pretty much the first part of May. We're still inside of it. So our range is pretty much this 27,000 handle. Nothing's really changed on this chart from many of the previous videos. Supported about 25 handle and resistance at 28,000. So we're just kind of filling that out, ping-ponging like a mofo. Let's zoom out to the monthly because that did close a couple days ago, maybe. So we didn't get it above, let's see here. We did not get it above the 21. So that kind of sucks. It did kind of like engulf most of this candle and it's kind of sitting on the lows. Not the best candle, but also not super bad, especially since Ethereum, unicorn shirt, man, has a very distinctive doji right on top of the 21. So that's technically its first open and close above the 21 EMA. So, I mean, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, it is a doji. It's not a nice girthy candle that's like above 2K. That would actually have looked really good. We didn't get that. So it's really kind of just solidifying that 1750-ish to 2000 range. And until we're out of there, it's kind of just attempting to flip bullish. Let's go ratchet down to the weekly and look at futures. Those will be closing soon. Hey, we're just sitting atop the shorter term MAs. Can't really hate on that. I mean, we've got mostly the momentum on all the oscillators, and we do have this higher high, and this is just kind of coming back to test the top of structure, really solidifying that 1750 area. So as long as we're above 1750, can't really get too mad at all. Bitcoin futures, let's go look at those. Again, sitting atop all these EMAs and the trend line. Look at this, y'all. This is $600 on the futures, roughly 2.5% of all the EMAs. We spoke about this on last stream or Monday's stream. This has actually never happened in history, in Bitcoin's history. It's even less now. It's 1.8%, less than $500 range for all of. I mean, these are pretty standard moving averages. Most people use a 21, a 200, a 50, or a 55. I mean, those are all pretty standard ones. Regardless, it is wild that they are only within 1.8%, less than $500. That's why Wednesday, I was talking about like ratcheting up my kind of major support level is the 25,000 handle. Was 24K, but after kind of the charts filled out a little bit, 24K, I'm getting even comfy back below 25, even 26. Probably could introduce some pretty deep selling into the low 20s. But as long as the bulls keep defending right here, this actually does look very constructive. And we can see this with Charlie Litecoin. Maybe we can if my chart wants to load up. This weekly is looking pretty decent. Let's look at the monthly of Charlie. Oh, a nice little hammer candle right up against the EMAs. So not over them, but right up against them. Really just solidifying that upper 80s that we've been discussing on this for way too goddamn long. I do really like this move, though, off the bottom of this box and the EMAs. They're all sloped up now, so we got chronological order slope. I mean, we've been talking about this for the last week or so, that this is one of my favorite setups for entries here because it's easy to manage. And this thing almost made a higher high. I would have liked to see that. Maybe today we get a little bit more definitive higher high, and open and close above this little swing high. And that would look really good, especially if we could close this over like 95 and change and get a little body into this wick. That would look very sexy. And again, you already know 100 is the next major resistance point. I think even a small short time frame, 4 to 8 hour open and close, a couple of those above the $100 range probably gets us to our next target zone. And that would open it up to probably like 120 something. So again, Litecoin looking the best, oddly enough, out of the cryptos, of the majors anyway. Ethereum Classic is just lolling around, super sideways as hell. It will be meeting the trend line by, July 4th. Maybe we get some fireworks off of that or before. So time is running out. We've been going sideways for so long that we will be testing structure in a lot of different on a lot of different charts. So yay! And I'm not going to go through the monthly on every single shit coin. But hey, look at this one. Since way back in its inception, or close to, look at this trend line that it's been kind of respected on the monthly basis for a long time. And that's the one we just spoke about for July 4th, roughly. Let's go to XRP. So overall, that's still higher highs, higher lows on a long-term time frame on Ethereum Classic. Actually, on that note, if we jump back over there real quick, on the monthly chart, yeah, I mean, just right up on this. I mean, this actually isn't the worst looking entry now that I'm kind of re-looking and reassessing this. Yeah, it looks bad. There's not really any oscillators or anything saying that this is a good. Only structure alone, which structure does trump everything in my opinion. Structure alone actually doesn't have the worst support here at about like 16 and change. If you were really conservative, probably like 17 flat. But kind of interesting spot there. Especially when I just looked at that monthly chart. Yeah, it might be worth a little stab. All right, let's see here. Ripple me nipples. Getting a little dippity doodah. Rallying really hard this week. Well, not really hard, 7%. Rallying decently this week. Getting back above the 200. Looking pretty good. Let's see if the bulls got enough strength to close over like 52.5. Over 53 on this weekly close would actually look really good for Ripple Me Nipples. If we go to the monthly chart, I know I got a lot of shit on here. I've just noticed that it does a pretty standard pattern, drops 60%, then rallies a little over 1,000, actually 1,000, 1,200, 13. And it does all the 618 retracements are very important. That's all these blue lines. And that's actually what this target up here is. I know that sounds crazy, Ripple around $3 handle. But, if it follows this kind of same pattern, which doesn't obviously have to, nothing's guaranteed in trading except you lose money. But this would be, or you will lose trades. You Can't win them all. But that would be the target off of this previous price structure that it has possessed since its inception, all the way back in 2013. That's right, y'all, 2013. One of the oldest shitcoins. And actually, Ripple was the first crypto, which a lot of people don't know about that, from way back in the day. Anyway, it definitely wasn't in the same vein as like Bitcoin, but the same idea. Whatever, I digress. We don't need to get into that. This still looks real good above 48 pennies. Really like it. If you've been watching the show or do your own kind of similar analysis to how I do it, you'd be seeing that 48 and the 42 level, as we've been discussing for many moons now. And this looks pretty damn sexy. I like these slopes. Look, the 200 starting to slope up. This is like full bullish mode. Every oscillator is exactly how you want it to look. And the only thing it's missing is breaking these local highs at about 53. Let's just round it to 54 pennies. So looking pretty good on Ripple Me Nips. How about Caleb Coin? Looks a lot better, solidifying this little spot as a false breakdown, testing the other side of range. Now bulls just got to defend, upper eights, right around 9 cents. And if they did that, let's see what our monthly is probably not going to be too much on here. If they did that, we could probably look for like low teens or just shy of the sub-teens. What changes my mind on that is just getting back below, 8.8 cents, something like that. Other than that, looking pretty good. TRX, Tron has been looking very nice. Bears trying to slow the Momo here. They got a little bit of a pressure, but look, right to the 21. Bulls defending as they should from this level. Actually looks pretty damn good for Tron. It's kind of flagging out even. So you already know this thing looks real nice above about 7.4 or so. And the next target we got is about mid-8s. And then after that, longer term is 10 to the low teens, somewhere in there. If this Momo continues, and man, look at this. The weekly's recrossed up. Looks pretty nice. The only thing you have to worry about on some of these structures when you first get the opening of the slope like this in chronological order, sometimes you just get some violent fake out moves. Like this one over here, actually. Here's a slope, and it got rejected pretty quick. Now, the one thing that is very different about this structure, and this is why I like oscillators, is because look at the RSI down here was very neutral on that rally, around 50, low 50s. So very different in the relative strength off of this crossover. And if we go back to this next crossover right here, look where RSI is, well above 60 and creeping up to the 70 zone. So in the power zone for RSI, and no, I do not like to use overbought and oversold like everybody does for those. Maybe I'm just a rebel or something, but I don't like the psychology behind using the term overbought and oversold. It implies that it's going to retrace or do a reversion to the mean or stall or something like that. And really what it means is the bears or the bulls, if it's above, 65, 70, whatever kind of number you use for the bull side, just have the momentum. Stuff can be, quote, overbought for years, a year or two, and it doesn't mean anything. So I just like to not use that terminology. I think it just sets you up for a failure. So I like to just use momentum. If we're above 65, 70, the bulls got momentum on RSI. If we're above 26 on the DMI, the bulls have the momentum. Then that removes some of that potential bias or something that could build up in your head. Just some food for thought there. Let's see. DOT kind of just lollygagging still, just being kind of lame. Looks like DOT just doesn't want to do shit until Bitcoin gets over 30K, maybe 28K, but it's just being a little bitch right now. Just hanging out on the lows. Losing this 5-10 area, not good. Pretty heavy, opposite of most stuff. This one's trapped in between the short and long-term EMAs. Decent attempt, you know, in that weekend memorial pump that we had on Sunday. Now, this is actually pretty good. If this engulfs this yesterday's candle, I actually do like that for defense of this range by the bulls. And all we'd really need to look for here is a breach of this 38 penny area. And that could easily bring us up into 42. You all already know it's got to be 42. So kind of in a little range here, pretty much between like 35 and 42. The Link Marines, what are they doing? Oh, look, they're not doing shit. They're still going sideways. Wow, that's so cool. I mean, look at the monthly. We're going to have like many monthly candles now. Look at this. This is actually the longest it's gone sideways since 20. That seems about when that came out, 2018, 19. Regardless, it's the longest sideways run that it's had, and the tightest, which just reiterates the theory I have that we're going to get massive price action coming out of these consolidations. And I'm leaning slightly to the upside, but anything can happen. But I do know that a large, big-ass move is coming. All right, EOS, little tempted breakdown, getting back above to the upper part of range. This, you could argue, actually looks pretty decent above 86 cents on structure. If it loses 86 cents again, I would watch the F out on that. And on to BCH. It is just chilling, kind of like one of the not so great looking ones, but structure wise, it's just right in the stupid middle of it. It's been down here like Link for a year, just absolutely doing nothing. And if we jump out to the monthly and see what I'm saying, look at this. It did it a little bit longer here, although we had a lot bigger of some moves. There's an 83% move. So this one's definitely a lot more compressed, just sideways as fuck, going about 20-30%. BSV, everyone's favorite, the real Satoshi, looks like real trash right now. It just keeps selling off. It cannot get no love at all. Same shit, different day on this, you know, about 31-ish, it's okay. But it has been in a range for a long time, pretty much 31 to 37-ish. XMR down below, well below. Man, and Monday did close nasty. This is pretty gross. We were wondering on Monday's stream if this was going to happen, engulf all this price action. So now we are pretty deep in here. And so now the bears, will they get the Momo to keep pushing this down? They do have it on DMI for the daily. So this is a very interesting spot here. If stuff's going to be like false breaking down like we've seen in a couple other charts, you know, we could look for this to snap back up, back into this stupid range in the low mid 150s. But definitely some damage done on the daily. Let's go to the weekly. The weekly's kind of rolling over. And just like Bitcoin, it's actually kind of the opposite. Bitcoin's really tight with all the moving averages right on its trend line. And we're right underneath all of that with XMR. So a little bit different, but that'll be quite fun. Sorry about that. A little bit different, and let's see. We do have a little bit of structure support kind of right where we are here in the mid 140s. And it doesn't probably start to get real ugly until 142, because 142.69, you see that? That's about the number it has to be, right? What other number would it be? So 142.69, somewhere above roughly that area. It is deep retracing, kind of looks nasty, but see if the bulls can snap this back over the next week or so, and that would actually be a pretty good reaction. Let's see. Zcash, blah cash, just nasty. Looks pretty gross, man. I don't really like this chart at all, but it's just sitting right on that 30 level, so pretty shitty action by bulls to get any kind of price action going, though. Pretty nasty. Pretty tight range. I just chalked this up to range mode between 30 and 34. Dash. What is Dash doing? Nothing, it looks like. Still in stupid range mode. 45, 39, and change. Doji. What are you doing, Doji? Oh, look. It's just barely hovering above its horizontal at the 666s. Not really the best. Kind of breached this, getting slopes down. Oscillators are incredibly neutral, though. There is no momentum shown on either of the oscillators. So that's kind of interesting. And we can just default to range. Pretty much short term, I'd say like 6.9. Of course, it's 69. And probably like 7.6 or so. STX, maybe. Just bleeding. Is it starting to kind of form a saucer here now? It kind of does look like it is. Sort of starting to round off here. Is it doing something like that? Possibly. And given where the structure is here and breaking out over this, trying to do like another bump and run type of pattern, which is actually one of the better performing patterns, you know, this one doesn't look too shabby as long as it's above mid 50s. I actually like the structure's not great. There's no Momo, but just, I'm sorry, the oscillators aren't great and there's no momentum or anything, but just off of the structure and being right here on top of this trend line, trying to break out on the 200 in this local low. I mean, you could argue that this is a pretty decent entry point, as long as it's above like, you know, mid 50s-ish. True Fi. Oh, actually getting a little pumpage. Look at this. Little hump day pump, little follow through Thursday. Getting rejected right now so far, but hey, that's a little bit different reaction. Looks like bulls are trying to make themselves known. This would actually look really good if we could get a bull test above 5 cents and then start making some higher lows. So possibly bulls trying to come in here. There is some really good support at this 4 cent level. XRD, the Radix, is it kind of doing the STX thing where it's kind of slowly dribbling down? It has a very similar structure. Is this starting to base out right here? The only difference is STX is actually above its little swing April sell-off low. This is below it, so it's a little bit worse, but hanging out above all this price action, though, definitely is pretty sexy. This could just be a retrace of all of this consolidation, and if bulls are real strong, they definitely should be able to defend this 6 penny handle. So what I look for bull action to really be back in town is above like 7.4-ish. Hex is just popping and dumping and dumping and popping and then dumping again. So this thing is just kind of bleeding out. It's probably going to zero. You know, let's see what Pulse Chain is doing. Not really shit, just sideways as hell. Not really much data there either, right? It just happens. So V-Chain, barely holding on, you know, back below 1.9, looks pretty shitty. Kind of a little rejection of this local low, so not the best looking chart. You do have the bulls trying to get Momo on the RSI. Just kind of one of those sloppy, nasty charts where it's like the tight range, 1.8 and about 2.1. So until it's really above or below there, it's just ping pong mode. This one is kind of bump and run-esque. Not real great, but hey, in that stupid kind of weird zone of the sideways shit where we're at the same price as we were, you know, a year ago or more. No, this is about a year. So a lot of stuff is like this, or it's the same price as May of last year. We just literally have done jack shit in an entire year. So I would start to get real concerned losing $10 on this one. And then really got to see it above like 11.50 or it's just boring. Osmos is just dying. It just looks like shit. It has not looked good for a long time since it broke 69. Really need to get back above at least in the 60s. But it's just a shitty chart. There's no splitting that one good. Ton, wow, Ton's doing the opposite. It's actually selling off, looking kind of nasty. Looking a little nasty. There is some real good support here, like in the 160s. So maybe we get a little relief bounce there, but this is pretty gross. We don't have this negative slope on the 200 yet, so that's like the only thing kind of saving it from the slope analysis. But let's look at the weekly. Not very great, and pretty nasty chart. It needs to hold and defend the 160s. All right, traditionals, ES pumping. It's been covering above 4,200. We got that open and close here above it. We've got almost one here. And then we have a nice engulfing candle from the attempted sell-off. And that slow dribble, we've talked about this. I don't know if this actually has a pattern name, but it's like this kind of rising channel thing at the end of a move. A lot of times these do end up breaking to the upside. It looks like we're getting that so far. This is a pretty nice looking chart. And y'all, I mean, we've been watching this forever, this stupid range. We just needed to get comfy above 4,200, and we would probably start running with a target of just shy of 44. Let's go to the monthly. Oh yeah, look at this monthly doji yestermonth, and right above the 21 on a pretty much a little cross doji, and then now we're actually flipping to turn green again. Open and close monthly above all of this range, and is this technically? Let me see, where is this at? Wow, it's almost right at 42. The lows at 41.78. Or the open is what matters. Wow, it's only 12 points shy. That's probably close enough. Close enough. We couldn't consider that an open and close above the 42 range this month. Oh, so, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is for this month's candle. This was the one that just posted. So this will be uber bullish if we get an open and close for the next month. But that just printed. We got freaking 28 days. I'm sorry. I misspoke. The one that just closed here in May is super tight cross doji. I mean, that is uber mega tight right there. It doesn't get any tighter than that. So see if we can get that follow through. Overall, looks fine above 4,200. I like it. Same with NASDAQ, looking good. Maybe if my chart can load. I mean, it had its open and close weekly. So open closes, y'all, are super important. This is such a bullish pattern, and we're just already stretching up to that 15 target after confirming this breakout a couple of weeks ago. It's just going, man. Shooting for the moon. Shooting for the moon. Next resistance is that 15,000 level. And then after that, we go into the next upper range, 15K to 16.5-ish. And then that's the all-time high up here. So, yeah, pretty wild. Everyone's so doom and gloom. I was actually talking to my buddies about this yesterday, and they're all really good traders. And I was like, man, what do y'all think about I know this won't be a popular opinion, but what do y'all think about the idea and maybe all these texts, because everyone's like, oh, shit's going to sell off. It's going to sell off, the bank, something, blah, blah, very doom and gloomy. But what are the chances that we already saw the sell-off? I mean, Amazon was down like 50%, Netflix was down like 70%, Nvidia was down like 70%. Almost all the tech stocks were down huge double-digit numbers, and everyone's still saying like, oh, we need to have the big sell-off. I was like, well, what if maybe we already freaking had it. Maybe that was it. I don't know. I'm trying to just start changing my mindset on that, because literally everyone you talk to is doom and gloom. It's over. Markets suck. Whatever market it is, too. Cars, houses, all that shit. So the majors are kind of saying whatever, because we even have that on the Russells over 1,800 now. So look at that. We finally got that. That was like kind of my bigger concern of the overall market, was Russell wasn't strong, and now we're getting it to follow through. We're also seeing the Dow do the same shit. Looking real nice on this weekly candle. If it closes up here like this, I mean, this is a real good defense. We're back up above 33.5. A lot of resistance at that 34.3, but then after that, that's pretty much all-time high test is coming in. Let's go look at the monthly real quick. Yep, stopped right on the 21. Very confused. This bitch has been sideways for 7 months now. Yay. So, but hey, it still looks okay. This one's been sideways for even longer, for a year now. Yes, it has had little 10% moves, but that ain't shit. We've just been going sideways for a year, right on top of this trend line, right on top of that 1740 level. Very important level for the Russell. Oh, this weekly is really good weekly. This can close above all of these candles at about 1810. Really would look super sexy above 1825 if that were to happen. by the end of the day here in about 4 hours. That would look super, super good. Nice reaction from the bulls here. How many times can it bounce off 1740s? Apparently way more than you could ever think. That's for sure. Let's see. Dow Tranny's even looking good. DAX won't load. Oh, is that false breakdown? Or also, maybe not false breakdown, but retest of the breakout zone again, which is kind of odd because it's retested it like a million times. But hey, got a little shakeout. We get back comfy above 16,000, man. New highs is definitely in the cards. It only starts to look ugly getting back into this green box down here. Let's see here. Shanghai kind of looks a little bit heavy below the green box, but it's being defended right off the 200. Tough spot, as y'all know. I don't really like to take trades in between the short EMAs and the long ones like this because this is whipsaw nation. But off of structure, this could just be a retest of kind of these lows over here in this breakout zone. So as long as it's holding about 3,200, it's okay. VIX getting absolutely pummeled. This is like probably the biggest news of this week. Destroyed. We are sub 15, y'all. This is pretty much saying the fear has been subdued. It is down. No one cares now, which is interesting because it kind of like is going with the narrative of maybe we already had the sell-off. I don't know. It's like the market's apparently not giving a shit about any of that. VVIX is back in the 80s. The futures are down sub 17. I mean, that's low. That's super low for VIX. Sub pretty much 18, breaking this trend line that it's had for a long time. I mean, maybe we're going into super bull mode from AI and other shit now. It's kind of interesting. Interesting move by volatility. Oil, what's Earl doing? Bouncing, nice engulfing off this attempted push by the bears right on this hammer candle. That's actually pretty damn good defense and is solidifying that 69 area as really good support. Of course, it's that. And this could be argued as a little H pattern. We get back up in this blue box again above $74. I think testing this mid-range of this box is very well in the cards if that were to happen. NG, nat gas ain't doing shit. It's just still sideways for the most part. It is incrementally making another higher low, though. So that is kind of noteworthy. We got this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And they all have little kind of hammer dojis on each one. And we just did another doji yesterday on it. I'm sorry, that'll be actually this trend line here, too. Something like that. Pretty interesting. So will it be defended here again for another higher rally? Possibly. Losing that again, you already know. We've been talking about this too long. 220 is the line in the sand. Has been for over a month now. Bonds rallying up to the middle of range. Geez, there's not much there to do. Right smack in the middle. Right by all the EMAs. That's a tough one right there. I will say the one thing that did stand out is we got back below TNX. We didn't talk about that on Wednesday. But that 370 is like that pivot zone that we've been discussing for a long time. You can see when we got right back below it, it was like, oh, it's rally time in the markets. So kind of interesting spot for this to recorrect to. Maybe it's just testing this. Watch this one closely because this is kind of the canary in the coal mine with rates, so to speak. Dollar kind of backing off a little bit. That's also interesting, kind of on the backs of TNX. Sort of watching the same chart. Gold, you already know, it rallied really good yesterday and earlier in the week, but giving it all back up, went right up to 2K, an immediate rejection, really solidifying that 2,000 level is the level to be above or below, depending if you're bearish or bullish. So very much confirming that 2K level. Really need to get back above 2K for this to not look a little bit heavy, just like 2420 on silver. And around 980 on platinum. And palladium is actually kind of hovering in the, I believe it's the upper 13s. Maybe if my chart will load. Yeah, okay, so it's more like the I guess it is mid upper 13s is the line in the sand on this. Starting to look a little bit heavy though here with that lower high made, and we're breaking the structure. This actually does look kind of heavy below 1420. All right, let's go to maybe if I can get over there. Let's see. Here it is. Our Bitcoin mining index, and then we're going to be signing off. Still defending 330. Very nice. Right on the two shorter term moving averages. Let's see what the monthly did. Probably won't be too much data on that because, hey, open and close above all this structure. Yeah, you know, so that 320 area is super, super important. Didn't get above the 21. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, it still looks pretty damn good. Really need to get an attempt over like 350-ish by the bulls to get a little bit nicer moves instead of this very short-term lower high, lower low structure here. See if they can at least test up here in the 360s again. That would look actually really good. And Core's is sideways as hell still. It just can't do anything. It's just mega uber sideways. Large moves are coming, y'all. Speaking of some large moves, what was it the other day I saw? Oh yeah, advanced auto parts. Look at this move. Whoa! Wow! Brutal, right? Look at that, dude. Brutal, brutal sell-off. 35%. Oops, I don't want to do that. 35%. Very extreme DMI reading, though, at 67. That is like super high. You usually never see it go that high. Let's see if we can see it ever go that high in history here. Nope. Nope. Close a little bit here and here. But this has been around a long time. We're not going to scroll back all there. Let's look at the monthly, though, because just to kind of show this serious damage to the chart. Oh my God, what is going on with my computer, man? It is really slow. Kind of a megaphone pattern up here. Nasty monthly. 42% almost down. Of course, it has to be almost 42%. Pretty nasty, though. Looks kind of bad below $80, roughly. Got back above 80, man. This bitch could run hard. I am watching this for a potential trade to set up for that. All right, that's it. Wrapping this biatch up. Bitcoin, stay above. You know, same shit to 26,000 area. Looks fine. The monthly was kind of meh. Looked better on Ethereum, but still okay so far. I like the weekly close. I like that we're hovering above all these EMAs. And again, getting back below 26,000, I would be a little bit concerned for an easy test at 24 and probably a little bit deeper if that were to happen. And conversely, just getting comfy above 28, probably test this local high here. All right, much love, y'all. I hope y'all have an awesome, super great weekend. This has been No Noise with Z-Rex. Happy Friday, all that good stuff. Go swimming. It's happy episode number 300. Can't believe it's already that many. It's crazy. Anyway, I'll catch y'all Monday morning. And that's it. Much love. Z-Rex signing out. Peace.